We are kind of running out of space in this PC case. As you can see, I can barely even put my finger in between where my current graphics card is, the MSI Gaming X Trio 2080 Super, and you know, this Lian Li Unifan with the radiator right here. So this is going to be difficult to fit this RTX 3090 inside of here. This card, I'm not sure if it's bigger than my 3080 because I've already reviewed the 3080 from MSI. That one was big. If this is even bigger than that, then I'm not gonna get it in here. All right, RTX 3090 unboxing here. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Oh, let's go, let's go. MSI. All right, let's see what we get. Now, I think someone else has probably had their hands on this card already. This is not like a brand new card, just so you know. Oh wow, wait, what? MSI even include how to upgrade your PC with a new graphics card. Lol, that actually looks pretty cool, dude. This is like, dude, this is like a comic book, bro. I've not seen any other company do something like this before. This is sick, man. Luckily, I already know how to upgrade my graphics card, but that's pretty cool that they actually include like a proper guide. And they even say happy overclocking at the end. Love it. All right, so this is the card. Damn, son. Yeah, I think this is the size of the 3080 that I had last time. Still though, this is quite a big card. Okay. Right, now that I got the 2080 Super out of the case, I want to compare this against the 3090 that we just got. Like, how much bigger is it really? Okay. Nah, you know what? What? Well, this is definitely something I didn't expect. This is the 3090, this is the 2080 Super. Even at this angle, dude, this is like the same size card. This might actually fit. I can't believe it. I genuinely thought that this 3090 would be enormous, like way, way bigger than my 2080 Super. I'm gonna try just get this card actually fits. Like, what? All right, it's been a few days since I began using the new 3090 instead of my 2080 Super, and I wanna show you using a couple of benchmarks, but probably just like one benchmark. Unigine Heaven 4.0 is what I'll show you here, and then I'm gonna turn on Cyberpunk 2077, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War. I'll run that because that has ray tracing support, and the game looks pretty damn good, sort of Cyberpunk, of course. So if you wanna build a similar system to this, or if you're just interested in what a system of this caliber, I guess, is capable of, it should give you a good idea of what kind of performance to expect in the video games that I'm going to show you here. It absolutely exceeded my expectations of the kind of FPS gain I would even see, because I really thought my 2080 Super was like mega high end, but this 3090 makes my 2080 Super look like a mid-range card, basically. Let me just show you the results right here, because this absolutely blows my mind. So I've got Unigine Heaven 4.0 running right now. This is a free bit of software that you're more than welcome to download. I'll even leave a link in the video description down below to where you can download this software. It's gonna pop up like this, and the preset that I'm using, I simply pressed on Extreme and then I hit Run, and this is what it was running at. Then I press Benchmark and it gives you a result at the end. It's a very simple bit of software to use. I think it's only like 400 megabytes, so it's not very big either. I ran two tests, one using my 2080 Super and the AMD 3950X. 2080 Super got 181 FPS on average, and the 3090 achieved 302.7. Now, in order for me to breach the 300 FPS mark, I did have to put an overclock on the 3090. I keep wanting to say 2080 Super. I've had that card for so long. The overclock that I was running was a bit more aggressive than this, probably in the region of like plus 1300 and maybe plus like 110 on the actual core clock, which is the top speed right here. However, I have gone ahead and dialed the overclock down every single time I experience some kind of instability with the system, or if every now and again like a game would crash, what I would do is I would go into the software and I would turn the overclock down ever so slightly, because my number one goal right here is to have a very stable system. Like, the last thing I want is my PC to be crashing like it was crashing when I had a 3950X. Now, I do have this CPU again, but this has been RMA'd, so this is the second 3950X that I'm using right now. So let's run a couple of benchmarks and see what kind of numbers we can get using this thing. This game looks incredible to say the least, but with us running on absolutely max settings, the game looks great, apart from the fact that we're running at about 40 FPS. 3090 right here. Beautiful. Perhaps I should turn on DLSS. So with Cyberpunk, that like doubled our FPS, dude. All right. If we run everything on like psycho settings in terms of ray tracing and all this, we get about 40 FPS in Cyberpunk. But if we turn it up, oh dude, I'm gonna get like the cops called on me or something. Police warrant issued. I've not played a lot of Cyberpunk. I'll tell you this now. I don't know a lot about the game. I've done maybe one or two missions. Anyway, DLSS has given us a nice increase in FPS, but we're still running at not an incredible frame rate right here. So maybe I should turn down the ray tracing. Let's try medium ray tracing, DLSS off. 46 FPS! Maybe you kind of want DLSS, you know? The FPS that we're getting right now, I'm guessing it might average out, I think maybe just under 100, and I can show you the settings that we're running on as well. So this isn't 100% maxed out, but we're nearly there. So in terms of like all the in-game settings here under the graphics menu, I've maxed out pretty much everything that I could. I've turned on all the ray tracing settings. However, I am running DLSS on balanced. That really has an enormous impact on my frame rate. If I turn it off, bear in mind I've got ray tracing turned on and on medium for the ray traced lighting. If I turn off DLSS, watch my FPS now. We have actually halved our FPS, which is rather worrying. So at the moment we're like under 60 FPS, even with an RTX 3090. Honestly, turning on DLSS is such an incredible FPS boost, and for the most part, things still look rather nice. All the various DLSS settings found within Cyberpunk 2077. Steve from Gamers Nexus, he made a brilliant video covering like, you know, how balanced mode looks like, how quality mode looks like, how the ultra performance mode looks like. So if you're interested in like optimizing your own game and, you know, getting the most FPS, I suppose, check out Steve's video. He did a really good job. But I'm getting around 100 FPS with these settings, and I'm quite happy with like the way the game looks is just, it's incredible, you know. But yeah, this is kind of what to expect, I suppose, within Cyberpunk, at least when you're driving around and you're also driving on the wrong side of the road. I keep driving on the left because I'm in the UK. We drive on the left here, and I keep doing that within Cyberpunk. Maybe that's why there's like a police warrant out to get me. How many snipers can we pick off? I can't even quick scope yet. Oh, imagine we got it. Let's go. We're gonna run out of ammo at this point. Too many kills. What are you doing, my guy? Alright, I've turned on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, but as we are searching for a game right now, let me just show you the settings that we're running this thing on. So this is on 1440p, we're running it at 144 Hz. Of course, it's going to be hella smooth. Now, the settings are 95, field of view, and everything else is maxed out apart from this HD game textures. That's the one setting I can't seem to get working. But apart from that, we have ray tracing on Ultra for all the ray tracing settings. And as for NVIDIA DLSS, that is actually disabled, and this is with motion blur turned off. Yeah, those are the settings that we're running the game at, but it does tend to average out at like 100 to 120 FPS. It's generally really smooth, and because this Razer Raptor monitor has G-Sync, we have no screen tearing going on, and even if we're hitting around like 90 to 100 FPS, the game still looks incredibly smooth, which is something like you obviously always want in like a first-person shooter game. But yeah, that's kind of what you can expect on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Now, the one thing you're probably asking yourself is, but can it run Minecraft? And the answer is absolutely. All right, I fired up Minecraft. This is 1.16.4, and we have these kind of settings running at the moment. So this is on chunk render distance, chunk render distance. What am I saying? Render distance is on 24 chunks. And if we go into the shader pack, we're running the SEUS renewed 1.01 shader pack, and we're running it on these settings. So no anti-aliasing, but the render quality and shadow quality is set to 1x. This is probably the most important settings right here. I wonder what would happen if I actually do turn on anti-aliasing. What kind of frame rate impact would that have? So let's just load the whole world in. But hey, like if you look at our FPS in the top left corner, we're doing really good. Like averaging out at around 108 apparently, but we can reset that figure. So I guess it would be a little bit more accurate. But yeah, the game I would say is absolutely playable using a 1440p monitor with shaders. Like I've never ever seen the shaders mod actually like go above 100 FPS on average. But if you have an RTX 3090, and I guess this CPU, maybe the CPU is a little bit overkill, because if you can look right here, we're using about like 5 to 6% CPU usage. It's really not a lot. But overall, the frame rate that you're able to hit on the shaders pack is incredible. I don't think that this is actually ray tracing though. So this is how the game looks like without shaders. We're hitting a whopping 300 and something FPS. I don't know if it would average out at that, but yeah, this is like crazy frame rates right here that we're hitting with no shaders. So obviously it can run Minecraft without like the crazy graphics, but when we do enable the shaders pack, it looks a million times better. You have like actual proper nice looking clouds. Now on my cameras are only shooting at around 24 FPS, so it might not look like as smooth as it does for me, because this is a 144 Hz monitor. This video is not filmed at 144 FPS, but for me, looking at it in person, the game looks so smooth, especially because I got G-Sync on here. It definitely just like makes everything look so goddamn smooth, and of course the game just looks so much nicer when you're using the shaders mod. The RTX 3090 and the CPU can absolutely handle this. This is the only time I've ever seen something be able to like handle the shaders mod, even at like is 24 chunks as a render distance too much, or is that too little? Like I don't really play Minecraft, but I used to back in the day when I was a kid. I've cranked it up to 32 now. We're definitely hitting slightly lower FPS, I'll tell you that. So I think, yeah, 24 is definitely like probably a better sweet spot. I could drop it down to 16 because I think that's what most people probably play it at. Bear in mind though that this is not ray tracing. I'm not using the official Minecraft NVIDIA ray tracing on Minecraft. All that I've done is I installed Optifine, which is like a mod, and through Optifine you can go into options, video settings, and you have way more settings here to play around with. So all I did is I went to shaders and I enabled my SEUS renewed shader pack right there. I must say I'm very impressed with the frame rate that this PC is able to hit. Like I've never seen over 100 FPS on here. Like usually it would just be lagging all the time, but like just look at that. Like, doesn't that just look absolutely amazing? The sunsets, especially using the shader pack, just look so crazy. Like, damn son. If there are any other titles that you'd like to see me benchmark in a proper benchmarking video where I'm not just like showing you the FPS, I'll actually have charts and everything, but that'll be for a final PC build video using this PC case. It's going to be called the Godlike Gaming PC Build 2.0. We did the original one using the 2080 Super, 64 gigs of RAM, MSI's Godlike motherboard, and the 3950X. That video did really good, and I really want to do a Godlike 2.0 PC build, so that's what's going to be happening now that we have a 3090. I reckon this PC definitely qualifies under the godlike name status, I guess. But before we do that video, there is one more component that I'm going to be swapping out. Can you guess what component we're going to be swapping inside of this PC case? Can you guess? Well, it's actually going to be that liquid cooler right there. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not ditching it because like I have a problem with it or anything. The only reason I'm swapping it out is because I like the look of this liquid cooler right here a little bit better. I feel like this one inside of this PC case, and using the parts that I have in here, this one would just, I feel like maybe look better with everything else in the case, if you get what I mean. It's a very simple design. It wasn't very expensive. This video is not sponsored by Enimax. I bought this myself on Amazon for I think just under £100, but it has like a very simple LED ring, but it's in the shape of a square. That is what I was after. I was after the shape of a square liquid cooler with like addressable RGB lighting. This even supports Razer Chroma apparently, so I hope it's going to be good. I'm not going to be using the fans that it came with. I'm still going to be using these Lian Li Uni fans for this PC build, so just bear that in mind, but should turn out looking really good in the end. So that is going to be the final component that I'm going to swap out. I reckon having a square liquid cooler CPU block will look a little bit nicer in here. This Lian Li Galahad liquid cooler I feel like would look better in a PC build that wasn't using fans like these, but personally that's just my opinion. Like I reckon that liquid cooler would look better with normal LED fans that have like the LEDs in the center and like, you know, the whole fan is glowing, instead of this LED design that Lian Li have gone for on their Uni fans. So that is going to be the one component that I'm going to swap out, and then we'll do the godlike 2.0 PC build. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. As always, there will be links in the video description to where you can check out the pricing of the RTX 3090 Gaming X Trio card from MSI. Once again, big thank you to MSI for sending this thing over. I really appreciate it. It's an absolute beast. Like, hands down, this is the fastest PC that like I've ever laid my hands on. And as for all the other components inside of the PC build, they will also be linked down below in the video description. I'll see you guys in another video soon where we're gonna do the liquid cooler unboxing and we'll swap it over. We'll see if the temps go up or down. I don't know, but it should turn out looking really good in the end. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.